What's up, guys? It's me, JellyKnees. And let's continue with our item series, moving on to the axes. But first, there's some announcements that are happening for sure. So, they revealed during Enter the Ether this week, UG did, that they're going to be having a live stream covering elements of Ethereal on May 22nd at 6 p.m. Central Time. So, again, that's Saturday, May 22nd, 6 p.m. Central Time. I will be live streaming the event at the same time, kind of covering any information that we gain, going over everything, breaking down it all in real time, as well as then after going back through the footage and everything like that. So if you want to see that, definitely come hang out and make sure you're subscribed to get notified for that. Speaking of subscribers, though, I do have a subscriber goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the end of June. So I really appreciate any of you that could help out. According to the analytics, only about 50% of you aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel. So go down, double check, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. We're trying to hit 1,000 by the end of June. So about 250 away. So I definitely think we can do it. And I appreciate any help you guys can provide toward that end. But let's talk about the axes. So there are 5 tier 3 axes in total. There's 2 tier 2s and 1 tier 1. So the axes themselves have 2 different stats that they are mainly comprised of. Those 2 stats being physical power and physical penetration. So for the most part, you're going to see these axes built on the carries and the bruisers of Ethereal. And I think the bruisers are really going to benefit from most of these. And then there's about 2 of them that I think the carry could really use to some huge potential depending on the build. But let's kind of talk about each of those stats real quick. So each stat, so physical penetration, increases the effectiveness of physical attacks and abilities against myths with armor. So if they're building armor, the more physical penetration you have, the more you get through that armor to deal your damage. And the damage, being physical power, increases the damage of attacks and abilities that use physical power. So any ratios you have will be increased that use physical power, and then your basic attacks as a whole will be increased based on how much physical power you have. Neither of these item stats have a cap at the moment. That is subject to change specifically for physical penetration. There may be a point where you get to a meta that you have to build armor shred, and they might put a soft cap on that or a hard cap even. But we'll have to wait and see for sure. So if we look at the item tree again, we see that there is a tier 1 that is the hatchet, tier 2 is the battle axe and the war axe, and then tier 3 has 5 total items, being Axe of Credo, Parhellions Havoc, Penny's Pen, Quarterings Edge, and Shield Breaker. Now, I want to break down each of these, and let's start off with Axe of Credo. So, Axe of Credo starts with Hatchet, goes into Battle Axe. Battle Axe has 20 physical power, 5 physical penetration, and 10% crit chance. So, with Axe of Credo, crit chance is actually going to be a very big thing, and you'll see why in just a moment. When we upgrade to the tier 3, you're going to get 40 physical power, 20 physical penetration, and 15% critical chance, with the passive Lucky Shot. This passive on a crit build could actually be insane. So successfully landing a critical strike on a target causes 20% of the damage to be converted into true damage. That's absolutely bonkers. Now, they did say that this has a 3-second cooldown, but even on a 3-second cooldown, if you're critting for 1,000 damage on one basic attack, and 200 of that becomes true damage every 3 seconds, you're going to deal an insane amount of damage over the course of a long fight with your basic attacks. So there's huge amounts of potential here. I really think this item is going to be best in a crit build, of course, because the more consistent your crits are, the more consistent you're going to have this passive go off to its full effect. Overall, really strong item. There have been some debates I've seen in people making builds, whether 80% crit chance is better or going to the full 100 is better. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that in the comments down below, so please be sure to let me know. But the next item we're going to move on to is Parhellions Havoc. So Parhellions Havoc also comes from Hatchet and War Axe and has 40 physical power, 10 physical penetration, and Parhellion has 10% cooldown reduction as its 3rd stat. Overall, very good. I equate this to being the Black Cleaver if any of you play League of Ethereal. This item is very similar in that regard, power, penetration, and cooldown reduction. And then the passive on it is Plate Shredder. Dealing physical damage to a target reduces its armor by 5%, stacking up to 4 times, so a total of 20% reduction. If you're building this and you can reduce a target's armor, that's just going to open up a potential for your carry to deal the most damage if they're using Axe of Credo. Not only are they going to do 200 true damage, then the rest of their damage is going to do 20% more damage by itself because it's getting through the armor 20% more. So definitely a bruiser tanky item here that I could see a lot of people using. Talos definitely could use this item and do a lot of work with it based on how easy his abilities will help him stack this. The third item I want to look at for the axes is Penny's Pen, also coming from Hatchet and War Axe. Penny's Pen does not have a third stat, so it's just 40 physical power and 10 physical penetration. Now, this is going to be another item that carries might build because Penny's Equalizer is the passive, and all physical damage pierces through 15 to 30% based on a level of the target's armor. So not only, if you stack this right, this is going to be the crazy combo. You could have Penny's Pen, meaning you'll at maximum go through 30% of the target's armor. You could have a Talos on your team, have Parhellions Havoc, reducing their armor by 20%. So it doesn't equal 50%, but it's a definitely increased amount. And if the carry has an Axe of Credo, they're dealing the true damage on top of that. So overall, the combos with these axes are very, very high. And I think you're going to see probably 2 or 3 axes per team in Ethereal, at least at the launch, if they stay as strong as they seem to be in the item shop right now. The fourth item I'm seeing here is Quarterings Edge. War Axe and Hatchet, just like the others. This one's a little bit different. It has 40 physical power and 24 physical penetration. So it's slightly more base penetration, and it has the passive Unlucky Number. Dealing physical damage to an enemy reduces their healing, health regen, and shield gain by 8%, stacking up to 4 times. If the enemy Marina is just popping off, healing her team like crazy, and you're not able to get through it, what you're going to do is build Quarterings Edge, and you're going to reduce the amount of health they receive and health regen they're getting and any shields they're getting by up to 32%. That's a bonkers number. You're cutting it in by a third, and that may give your team the edge you need in order to go out there and win the game. If you use Dante's right click and just volley shots across the entire team and even get an 8% reduction on all the members, or 16 on some and 8 on the rest, you're still going to do a lot of work to help your team cut through that enemy team and their health and shields and all of that stuff. Really, really strong. But I don't think this one is as strong in the shield department as the last one. The last item is Shield Breaker. Now, Shield Breaker is bonkers, truly and honestly bonkers, in that you have 40 physical power, 40 physical penetration with a Bubble Popper passive, which is a mouthful. Try saying that 10 times fast. All physical damage deals 200% increased damage to shields. If I'm Dante and I'm already critting for 1,000 damage in my autos, and somebody has a shield on them, I now deal 200 or 2,000 damage to that shield. Anybody with a shield will not have a shield after one auto from Dante in that specific case. That's insane. If you get some massive shield kind of myth that puts shields out on everybody, this item will be an absolute must take, because there's no way you want to be able to pop that shield. It's called Bubble Popper for a reason. You pop the shield off of them instantaneously and then just whittle down their health like it's nothing. I think it's actually kind of nuts that it's 200%. And I'm going to guess that we'll probably see a nerf to it as the shield meta may start popping up, because shields will effectively be useless once this item's built on a carry, especially because it also gives 40 physical penetration on top of it. Really, really strong item overall. All of the axes could definitely see a place in the game. And like I said, I think we're easily going to see probably 3 or more axes built per game, per team, because of just how valuable they are and what opportunities they can open up for the team and in the late game. Now, guys, I do want to talk to you about Ethereal.gg. I know we've talked about it a couple times, but it's a website that I'm building in conjunction with some other friends of mine, and it's going to be a builder for Ethereal. So let's hop on over there and I'll go through a build with you. All right, guys. So here's the Ethereal.gg builder once again. And I just want to make a quick Aran build for you guys and show you this new section that we just added to this update. So we're going to do a Aran build for the jungle. We select his base skin as the background. We name it whatever we want. I chose 420 Blaze It because of the Blaze passive, of course. And right here, you can see, again, our item page. We've kind of gone over this a little bit before, but just briefly showing it. You can add tabs, delete tabs, pick whatever items you want, the whole 9 yards, label them, add notes. Great feature here. Next thing we have is the loadout page. I think for Aran, we're probably going to want the protect loadout tree because he's going to be that kind of tanky person. So we're going to add, let's add in some armor, a little bit of defense power, and a little bit of magic resist. And we're not going to worry about the second combat tactic stat at this time. I haven't used them all. I lied. We are going to worry about it. We're going to add another magic resist in there. Now, for the abilities, briefly talked about this before, but I do want to let you guys know again that you start with one level in your special ability, your right mouse button, but you also get to pick something else. Because you really want early access to that Blaze passive, we're going to select his Burning Fist ability, then go for Hell's Inferno at level 2, and then Impending Doom at level 3. At level 4, we're going to go back to Burning Fist. This is going to be his bread and butter ability, so we really want to hang on to that. And at level 5, we have the first level into his ultimate, being Imminent Apocalypse. At 6, 7, and 8, we're going to finish out his Burning Fist. At level 9, second ability level into your special. Then we're going to look at actually probably doing Hell's Inferno as our second maxed ability here. So we're going to do 10 and 11 and 12 into Hell's Inferno. Level 13 will be a second level into our ultimate. 14 maxing out Hell's Inferno. 15, 16 going into Impending Doom. 17 into our right mouse button. 18 and 19 finishing off Impending Doom. And level 20 closing out our ultimate. Now, remember, you can add notes at the bottom here, and they'll show up on the final page as well. Now, this is the new page that we've added. We've added a Threats and Synergies page. Now, this may not work before the pre-alpha launches, but once it does, you'll be able to come here and say that Aran and Dante work really well, or Dante's a major threat for Aran. So we'll select major, which tells you right there, and then you can type in notes basically talking about like why Dante counters Aran so well. So I can put in here Dante's range keeps Aran at bay. So then you can close that out and add another one if you wanted, if there was another myth that you felt really counters Aran. Then if we go over to our synergies tab, I can say that Malaya works great with Aran, and that Malaya and Aran can roam the jungle together. And this will be able to apply to your notes and let other players know that if you see a Malaya on your team, you might want to pick Aran because their synergy is really, really strong. Then we go to the review page. We see everything that we did here. We've got the starting items, first back, loadout stats, ability order, and our threats and synergies here listed as well. But guys, remember, Ethereal.gg, I appreciate all the feedback we've been getting on this. If you end up using the builder and something breaks or doesn't work, or even you just have general feedback for us, join my Discord, link in the description, and feel free to let us know in the Discord what your thoughts are, how you would change things, what you think of the new section. And we're going to be constantly doing more updates like this, making things look better, feel better, function better, the whole 9 yards. But guys, that's going to do it for me. I appreciate all of you very much for hanging out through this entire video. I know these videos have been very long recently, but it really means the world to me. Remember, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of May. So share this video to your friends. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you want to see other videos that I've made, all my Ethereal content is in a playlist right over here. If you want to see the most recent video or something recommended for you by YouTube, right on the other side, and then click the icon above my head, hit subscribe, and turn the bell on. And I'll see you guys in the next one.